Welcome to the Hater's Guide for IELTS Writing. If you hate IELTS Writing, don't worry, you're not alone. There's a lot of us out there who don't particularly like IELTS Writing. But don't worry, this is where I come in. I'm going to show you how easy it is to revamp an essay and how to write it correctly. And of course, we'll go over some mistakes that are often made. Let's get started. So, a couple days ago, a candidate of mine, I asked them to write an essay, and this was the topic that I gave them. Some people think government should spend less money on arts and invest more in education. How far do you agree or disagree with this opinion? So that's the question that we have to tackle. And of course, the ask is, we have to give our opinion on agree, disagree. And of course, just read this bit. How far? So we have to tell them exactly to what degree do we, agree or disagree with this. So, keeping that in mind, this is what the candidate wrote. I'll let you, have a look at the answer, read, and then moving in the next few minutes, we'll go paragraph by paragraph and we'll revamp this essay and we'll give it a facelift to make it sound better, to make it sound an 8+ essay. Right now, this essay is maybe 6.5 band, somewhere there, okay? So, let's get started. Some of the common errors that are there in this essay, and we most often make those, is the tone of the essay itself. Second is the grammar. That's a lot of mistakes where we make that. A lot of candidates also struggle with sentence structure and organization of ideas and thoughts. So that is something, we'll tackle as well. And of course, some spelling mistakes and revamping the vocabulary in itself. So, let's get started. Let's do a deep dive with this and find how to revamp, how to give a facelift to this essay. So, this is the introduction, that the candidate wrote. Now, let's have a read. The one in red is what the candidate wrote. The one in blue is, my answer. So, let's have a look here. Art plays a vital role in the society as it helps people to connect with their culture and their past, but a group of people believe that civic bodies should not financially support art. Instead, they should focus on the advancement of education. I agree with the given notion, and this essay will discuss both views. Okay, not bad. I mean, it's okay for an introduction, but did you notice something? How long this sentence is? It's almost like just one sentence in this entire bit. And that's too long. See, here's the thing. If your sentence is going more than 20 words, it's too long. Cut it short. Make it smaller. That's the first thing that you want to do, okay? Another thing that, we kind of look here is the word civic bodies. I mean, I get it, we are trying to go for a different vocabulary, but it doesn't quite make sense. The word choice isn't quite right. And of course, the ending of it, I agree with the given notion, and this essay will discuss both views. Yeah, it makes sense, but now let's look at how I would write it and how an 8+ band essay would sound like. So, art plays a vital role. This is what I'm gonna do. Art and education are both significant aspects of society, and there is an ongoing debate regarding the allocation of government funds. Okay, you see how I cut the first sentence pretty short? That's how long this first sentence is. And we discussed both art and education in the same sentence, okay? And look at the vocabulary. Ongoing debate, we use this. So when, they ask you for an opinion and there is something of a discussion that is ongoing, you can use the vocabulary ongoing debate, okay? And look at this word as well, allocation. Allocation is something that's being given out, okay, of the government funds. So there you go. Many argue that the government should decrease spending on arts and redirect it towards education. Okay, so that's the first stance, right? So use this in your essays as well if they ask you for, agree, disagree essays. So you can say, many argue that the government right? And then later on it says, I concur with this viewpoint as I believe that prioritizing education is essential for societal advancement. This essay will explore the reasons behind this agreement. Okay, so you see how I gave this introduction a facelift? So look at So when you're saying I agree with something, you can say I concur with this viewpoint. Okay, that's good vocabulary for your essays. So, remember this word, memorize it, use it in your essays. And then I believe that prioritizing education. So here is where you're giving your opinion that prioritizing education is essential for societal advancement. Okay, so you see this word, societal advancement. We changed quite a bit here, okay? So keep that in mind. So this is how you can change the vocabulary and look at the tone of the introduction itself. This introduction here, it's not as academic. Now the one in blue, it's very academic. The vocabulary used is very formal. The tone of the essay is on point. Okay, now let's move forward. Okay, the candidate wrote, to begin with, education is more important than art for a nation in order to grow. Okay. With the help of education, the future of a country can be decided. When we use the word can be decided, it's wishy-washy. It's not like to the point, right? The difference between can and will make a big difference when you're writing an essay. So, keep that in mind. Now let's move forward. If the government pays more attention towards education, then there is a strong possibility that a country can grow faster in terms of science and economy. A little bit of a grammar here that, the way these tenses are moving. So that needs to be taken care of as well. If countries spend more money on teachers, school, books, and technology, in return, it will help in the advancement of healthcare and defense. It's okay. It does make sense, the way the candidate wrote this and the way the idea flows. Yes, it makes sense. Okay, but this is how I would change it. So this bit here to begin with, that was good. That was a good way to start the idea. So it makes sense, right? And then it kind of further nails down into the ideas. But here's how I would write it. Education plays a pivotal role. Look at this word. Pivotal role in shaping the future of a nation. By investing more in education, the government can provide enhanced opportunities for students to acquire knowledge and skills necessary for their personal and professional growth. Allocating additional funds to teachers, schools, and educational resources and technological advances will result in improved educational outcomes and contribute to a more prosperous and competitive society. So, see how in this paragraph, it was more so about the results that would be, right? How things would change. And that's good, when we mentioned results. But in this paragraph, we are more so talking about the actions that will lead to results. And that is important. When you write the essay, you want to give details about how or what would be the impact of, additional funds being allocated to all these different people. What would happen and how would that make a change? Answer that. Because when you're giving an idea that, hey, you know what? Doing this will change something, you have to give a supporting idea, and these are the supporting ideas that would, add more to the answer. Now let's move forward. On the other hand, art is already supported by private sector. There are a number of wealthy art lovers who are willing to spend huge amount of money to support art in the form of painting and sculptures and so on. Some artists, for example, musicians, singers, and dancers make money with the sale of their show tickets. A little bit of grammar and word choice that's a little off here. Therefore, they are most likely do not need any financial support from the government. Now this that's misplaced. It shouldn't be there. Therefore, they are more likely. It should be more likely, or it should be, or you just remove the R and then you leave. They most likely do not need any financial support from the government. Okay, so that's what the candidate wrote. But now, if I were to rewrite it, this is how I would go about it. On the other hand, while art holds cultural and aesthetic value, it is important to consider the allocation of limited government resources. Okay, so you see how we reframed the word money to government resources. And that is what vocabulary is all about. Showing synonyms, writing the same word in different ways and different forms, right? Now let's move forward. The private sector already plays a significant role in supporting the arts through sponsorships, patronage, and art sales. Okay, now look at this bit here. Art is already supported by the private sector. It's very informal the way it's written. More academic way to say that would be the private sector already plays a significant role in supporting the arts through sponsorships, patronage, and art sales. This word significant, that makes a big difference. Okay, and yeah, I guess private sector we can leave it as is, so that's fine there. And we also mentioned how the private sector is supporting art. Now let's move forward. Many artists have successfully established themselves in the commercial realm, generating income independently. Therefore, reducing government expenditure on arts would not hinder artistic expression or impede the development of artists, given the existing revenues of private support. So last time when we mentioned, like here, this line here, some artists, for example, musicians, singers, and dancers make money with the sale of their show tickets. It doesn't, it doesn't really, she missed the point that, what's the impact of it? What happens if we don't have that funding available? And this is what, you want to add to the answer as well. So here, we say that, many artists have successfully established themselves. So if we reduce the government expenditure on art, it wouldn't really impact them. So, it just makes more of a holistic answer. Now let's move forward. Now, the conclusion, it's very small, short, tiny, but let's have a look. To conclude, governments should decrease spending money on art. Instead, they should focus on education in order to increase the country's. This will not affect the art or the artist in any way. Something missing here, so not sure what that is. That's a mistake. This will not affect the art or the artist in any way. This sounds too informal, so that's a little bit of work to be done here. Now let's see how to rewrite this. So when we are writing conclusions, we want to basically summarize the entire essay. Okay, that's important. So this is how you can do this. In conclusion, while art undoubtedly holds significance, I agree with the notion that government spending on arts should be reduced in favor of greater investment in education. The word money is being overused here. So instead of that, what I used here is investment. So that's kind of like, that's how I replace investment. And I also changed it to government spending. That's another way of saying money. Okay. Now, by prioritizing education, governments can ensure that future generations are equipped with the necessary knowledge and skills to contribute meaningfully to society. Private support and commercial viability within the arts industry provide reassurance that artists will continue to thrive. Striking a balance between funding for arts and education is crucial for the overall progress and prosperity of a nation. So, there you go. That's how you basically just remap the entire essay, okay? Now, there's a lot of words that are being used here. Let's quickly go back to it. So, all this vocabulary that we've used in this essay, use it in your essays as well, okay? The good way to conclude something is by saying in conclusion, that's good, use it, okay? But remember, when we are writing our IELTS essay, we want to show that we have the technical and the know-how and the vocabulary to write essays. And so like here for money, we use spending, we use investment, we used all different kinds of words. And of course, in this conclusion, we covered the entire essay. We covered the introduction, we covered paragraph 1, we covered paragraph 2, and then we covered, we gave like a closing statement here. So that is important for, conclusions. So there you go. That's basically how, if you hate writing essays, look at this framework, look at this vocabulary, and look at how this essay, this answer has been rewritten. And this will actually really help you in making sure that, what you hate and what you aren't so good at, you can improve by doing this. And of course, if you have any friends who are struggling with this, share this video with them. They can learn quite a bit from this. And hey, you know what? Subscribe. We'll be putting out a lot more information like this that you will find useful. And if you have any questions, drop them in the comments. I'll get back to you. Well, hope you like this video and good luck with your exam. I'll see you in the next one.